tuned for today's episode of Breaking the Biz, an informative podcast where we dive into the world of entertainment by interviewing seasoned professionals who have made their mark in the industry. Gain invaluable insights as they share their personal journeys, offering advice on navigating the dynamic landscape of the entertainment industry. Whether you're an aspiring actor, musician, filmmaker, author, animator, or any creative soul, tune in for expert career guidance, insider tips, and first-hand accounts on breaking into the entertainment industry. Get ready to unlock the secrets behind successful careers and fuel your own passion for the limelight. Please remember to like this video and to subscribe to our channels for more great conversations.
Greetings from Breaking the Biz, brought to you by Yes I Can Unity Through Music and Education. I'm William Felber, your navigator through the intriguing universe of the entertainment industry, as revealed by the visionaries and creators who bring it to life. Stay tuned as we delve into diverse insights from the forefront of entertainment, hearing from pioneers, creators, and agents of change. Prepare for a journey filled with tales of innovation, resilience, and the undying quest for artistic brilliance.
Welcome to Breaking the Biz podcast with the Yes I Can crew. We've got a fantastic guest with us tonight. We have Jeff Murphy, who is the CEO of Quest Pacifica, motion picture editor, visual effects supervisor, and producer. He has an extensive background in the film industry, having contributed to over 150 feature films, notably. He served as the lead editor for the Emmy-nominated Ryan's Mastery Playdate, working on 90 episodes and for 76 episodes of Nickelodeon's Emmy-nominated series, Mutant Stuff. He also let his editing expertise to Amazon Studios in 2018, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, a project produced by renowned filmmakers Sid and Marty Krofft. Currently, Jeff holds the role of visual effects producer for several prominent series, including Paramount Plus, the Really Loud House, NBC Universal's Punky Brewster on Peacock, Amazon's Blippi's Treehouse, Disney's Coop and Cammy Ask the World, and Disney Plus Earth to Ned. He recently completed post-production work on Universal Studios' 2 theatrical films, Justice and Werewolves. In addition to his television work, Jeff's talents extend to the realm of visual effects and sound design. In 2023, he contributed visual effects to notable projects such as Netflix Red Notice, Amazon's Jack Ryan, Amazon Gen Z's, and The Terminal List, while also working on sound design for Stranger Things, The Experience. Looking ahead to 2024, Jeff is gearing up for upcoming projects, including Netflix Blippi's Job Show and Hulu's The Old Man. Jeff is also, like I mentioned, the founder and co-owner of the award-winning Hollywood, Los Angeles-based post-production studio, Quest Pacifica. The company specializes in 26 years of motion picture editing, sound, color, and visual effects for film, online streaming, and television. In 2022, Quest Pacifica was awarded number 585 in Inc. 5000 magazine of one of the fastest growing private companies in the United States. And in 2021, they were ranked 1,151. Quest is a TPN compliant and certified facility with multiple edit suites, a Davinci color bay, ADR room, theater screening room, and 9,600 square foot creative space. Jeff continues to work in the gaming industry for Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation, and all Nintendo platforms. Quite an impressive bio, if I do say so myself. And Quest Pacifica's got everything there. It really is a one-stop shop for creatives.
Well, when you put it like that,
I just speak reality, and reality's telling me you've got everything there. I mean, I watched the highlight video of the company, and it's quite impressive, everything that can be done there, from just producers being able to come in there and directors and work with your talented staff. Having an ADR room so you can do the voiceover, the coloring, plethora of jobs at Quest Pacifica. So kudos to the amazing work you guys do.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. Been around started the company in 98, so been around a while.
Okay. So let's talk about it. When did contributing to over 150 films, you've got your roots definitely in entertainment. When did you fall in love with movies?
Well, when I was 7, I made Star Wars. Now, it's not the Star Wars it's my version, and it was horrible. But I started at 7. My dad had a video camera, and pretty much since then, every weekend I was making movies with my friends all through high school, junior high, and then even into college. So I just was constantly making movies.
So at 7, Star Wars. I hope you had a Jabba the Hutt before a Jabba the Hutt. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, it was a giant beanbag. So
love it. I love it. So you had roots. You had really good ambitions at 7. What did you, when you were like dream job? Was it directing? Was it producing? Acting? Where did you foresee that you were going to go?
It was definitely directing. That's where I was aspiring to pretty much all through high school and then going into college. That was what I was aspiring to be. Later on through life, I realized that really it's storytelling, and there's a lot of different avenues of storytelling. So directing isn't the only storyteller. So my paths have definitely gone in different directions. But I initially went as a director, wanting to just make a movie.
Okay. So 7, you do the Star Wars. You're still making movies with the friends. In high school, did you have a video class? What was your exposure in high school? And then we'll talk about that transition to college.
Yeah, my exposure in high school, there was a photography class that had a photography/video. And so I was able to edit the video, the senior videos. And I had this weird program at home that they used at the school, which was literally VHS decks back and forth. And, it didn't work very well. I was a master of it because I used it at my house for years. And then when I got into the school to use it, the teacher basically, I said, this program isn't working. And he tried to flunk me, saying that I don't know what I'm doing. And then basically in front of the class told everyone I'll never be an editor. I'm never going to make it. And the principal came in and said, you can't talk to your students like that. And, I had to prove that I knew the system. And I just it doesn't work. Trust me, it's not accurate. And so that was my experience of it in high school. So I just really decided to make it on my own and do my own stuff outside of the high school.
It's always sad when there is a teacher like that. I can think of the basketball player who, Jaylen Brown, and the teacher said, you're going to be in jail. And, still now in the NBA with getting the largest salary, thanks that teacher. I imagine, do you ever think about when you were winning the Emmy, getting up there and going, thank you to that high school teacher who said I would never amount to anything?
It's funny because I was ready for that. I had been saying if I ever get nominated or if I ever win an award, I am going to call him out. But no, I didn't. I don't know. I chickened out.
Took the higher route. It's okay. But so you do that in high school. Obviously, you're over it. What do you decide to major in and pursue when you go to college?
So right when I got out of high school, I got a job editing weddings and bar mitzvahs. And I probably did over 600 of them. Just throughout 6 years. And this company was pretty big, so they're doing 8 or 9 a week. And I was just nonstop editing weddings. And then I got a loan for a $10,000 camera and went out and shot weddings. But then I filmed movies with that camera and paid it off in 6 months. And then basically went to a junior college, community college. I went to Pierce College in LA. And where are you guys?
We're Santa Clarita, so we're definitely Cal Arts and College of the Canyons.
Okay, yeah. So I went to Pierce College, which is in Woodland Hills, And at the time, they had a couple of film classes. They had like history of cinema, just a few classes. There weren't a lot. But I went to community college there. And basically at night, I was editing my movies and filming 4 feature films while I was going through Pierce. And with the wedding company in the middle of the night, I was editing. So basically, I worked from 9 to 5, and then basically 7 o'clock, I'd come back in and I'd stay there till 4 in the morning. I'd drive home, get a couple hours of sleep, and then go right back to work. And that's pretty much what I did for like 4 or 5 years. And then after Pierce College, I transferred to Columbia College Hollywood Film School.
I love it. And I want everyone to just acknowledge the hustle that you had at a very early age, even from, the editing of the bar mitzvahs and the weddings to going to school and not really spending so much time just relaxing video games. You're working, and beknownst to you are putting in, starting your 10,000 hours to master your craft. You really are working on editing and all different facets. So once you
absolutely
go for it, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I definitely that definitely is accurate. I was one that every weekend I just call friends that weren't wanting to do acting or anything, but they loved it and they got everyone off the streets, right? We didn't do anything bad. We made movies and did anything we could. And at the time, I didn't realize my philosophy of how I was, but I've definitely realized it throughout the years that I've always kind of considered there's dreamers, which is what you've got to be. But then there's dreamers that do action. And then there's one more component, which I didn't really realize till later in life, that there's dreamers, then there's action that you do, and then there's not stopping. Because a lot of people they see walls or barriers, or they're tired, or other friends are doing some other fun stuff and things like that. And I just knew exactly what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be in the movie industry. So that's what I just went after. So I just kind of felt like any time I wasn't doing that was almost a waste of time. So that's and doing weddings and bar mitzvahs and all that kind of stuff, it's storytelling. It's storytelling of that day. And I took it very serious. I was editing these demos for the wedding companies and then competing internationally, nationally with demo weddings and winning first place in Vegas, editing these demos for the companies or for weddings using movie themes and movie concepts. So it's all storytelling.
It's fantastic too. I love that. There's the dreamers, the doers, and then the ones who just don't stop. I think that's fantastic, because if you know what you want and you have that plan A, there's no need for plan B and C if you are going to put your all into it. And I think the other thing you mentioned, sometimes there's barriers, there's walls, but when you want it bad enough, you just keep going, and you have to be resilient, and you just have to be determined. And obviously that speaks of a strong growth mindset, and you had that at a very early age, and obviously still have that. So I commend that. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's funny. As I'm doing it, I didn't see it as that, but as I've gone later in life, I see it as that. I just was doing anything I could to make a movie. That was it. Just make more movies and make more movies.
Perfect. So after you're now at the School of Columbia, what are you still now working on making movies within the college? Still editing and doing the bar mitzvahs on the side as well?
Yeah. So I was Columbia in Hollywood was more of a night school. It was late classes in the evening. So I was able to work weddings and stuff during the day. And then at night, the classes were from like 6 to 10:30. And then I would literally drive straight there and go edit in the middle of the night. So at the film school, I learned a lot, and it was great. And, my experience in college was more about the networking and connections I was making than it was necessarily what I was learning, because we have a lot of resources on how to learn, and like the 10,000 hours, going out and doing as much as you can. Like, when I took an editing course in college, I knew how to do most of that already because I'd been editing movies. But, the great part of going to Pierce, going to Columbia, is that there's like-minded people that want to do the same stuff. And then I'm finding that I'm networking, and I still work with the people that I was in college. My great friend that was a nothing in college, he's the cinematographer for Walking Dead. My partner that I produced a movie when I was in Columbia College, he's the assistant editor for every Avenger film, making $10,000 a week. So I built these same people that came out of there, which, in hindsight, you kind of look and go, well, what did Spielberg do? He started off with John Williams. He started off with Michael Kahn, the editor, and they basically stuck with him for his entire career. And he started with his team then. And I very much have that same kind of experience of working with the same people.
And I think you bring up a great point, is when you are, it's natural networking when you're working with like-minded individuals. You can also find individuals that have certain skill sets that maybe you don't have, and that obviously makes collaboration that much better. You've surrounded yourself with individuals who are as talented or more talented to help you rise to the occasion. Obviously, you're not one of those individuals who get distracted off of somebody who's just having fun or just going to college just to have the parties. You went there to just continue to work on your craft and to make more movies. And I think that is, it's phenomenal too, to see the success of other individuals as well. Once you graduate, I want to ask, did you get an internship from the school? Did the school, I mean, I know you obviously were editing and you already brought that knowledge to the school, but did they help you with an internship or a job placement while you were at the school or when you were close to graduating?
A job placement. So my first job, I was hired by my professor. So my professor hired me, and within that first year, I made $80,000 editing videos for cancer survivors. He did a lot of documentaries, and basically years later, I said, "What made you, hire me? Why did you do that?" And he said, "I looked around and I looked for the people that are taking it serious, and you were an editor and you were taking it serious, so I hired you." I did that for 3 years with him, and made great money like immediately. And that was from my professor, and which is interesting because I teach a class on Monday nights at Valley College for editing. And then in the spring, I do visual effects. And I've hired 2 of my students, and they're making $4,000 a week. And it's just, one of those things where I live by this. And it's something that I realized was happening to me when I was in college and I didn't know it. And if there's, anything that I say, it's this. It's that you're always being interviewed and you don't know it. And that's something I live by. So anywhere I go, if I go to a party, if I go to a Hollywood event, if I go to schools, anywhere, I just assume I'm in an interview and I don't know it. I just don't know who I'm around and who's my potential employer at some time or a potential collaborator. Am I, making an ass out of myself, or am I being a good person? Do I complain about the late hours and all of this stuff? And people are watching you and experiencing that. And I have gotten some of the craziest work from some of the weirdest places, like wearing a T-shirt at my son's baseball travel teams, standing in the field, and I got the largest job I've ever gotten in Hollywood by just not being a jerk. I was just a normal, I wasn't a dad out there going crazy like most of the dads. I just was a normal there. I was polite, and I didn't know that the lady I'd been sitting with for 6 months was one of the top producers in Hollywood. So I kind of use that. And in high school, I felt that was happening. And in college, it really happened where I was being scouted by my professors, because my professor that hired me said the other professors were talking and saying, "Hey, does somebody know a cinematographer? Who would you recommend?" And then someone say, "Do you know an editor?" And then someone go, "Yeah, you got to use Jeff. He's doing all these things." So that, they're talking about us, and you just, so the truth is it, it's a giant networking experience in college. I'm always asked this. I'm asked this all the time. How do you get your foot in the door? How do you get your foot in the door? I just want to get into Hollywood. How do I get my foot in the door? And honestly, my answer is this: when you're in college and you're taking film courses, your foot's in the door. What you do when you're in there is up to you, and the networking that you do is up to you, and how you present yourself and let people know what you do, and also collaborating with people. And like you just said earlier, Brett, where you were saying, if there are people that have different skills than I do, we help each other out, and it's teamwork. And Spielberg always said it best. He's not the best filmmaker. What he does is he's the best team builder, and that is what you're trying to get out of film school or being in college. Is that the like-minded is the goal-driven, and that goal-driven makes people rise to the occasion. And you go through the trenches. You go through crazy stuff. You have no money. You're going through trying to make a film or making, a commercial or whatever you're doing. And you're going through all of the same exact emotions, the same exact seriousness, and the same exact professionalism as we do on big films. You just don't have the money. So you have to actually get more resourceful. Look, when I'm on a set now, you just say, I need, your camera breaks down, and you just say, oh, I need another one. They go to the truck and there's another one in there. But when you're doing something in college and your camera goes down, it's like, well, now what? Like, how do we improvise? So there's more knowledge that you're learning at that stage than you are when you're in your profession. So that to me is, film school was crucial, because it's not so much the knowledge that you're gaining, because that's kind of the given. Like, okay, I'm going to go learn about editing. I'm going to go learn about writing. I'm going to learn this. But what you don't realize is the people that you're around is your potential employers, your potential team for the rest of your life. And that's the crazy part, because I'm always like, never sit in the back of the room and be quiet. Like, let people know who you are. Let your instructors know who you are. Let everyone know how you want to help them in their projects. If someone goes, if you want to be a cinematographer, and somebody says, does anyone know how to do camera? It's like, yes, I do. I'll do it. You hop on as many of these as you can, because your career in this world is a process of elimination. You're eliminating the ones that don't help you get to where you need to go, and you're building the ones that do, and you keep them. You lock into that type of structure of mentality and goal-driven and talent, and you lock onto that, and that's your team, that's your collaborators, that's your referral base. Because the truth is the film industry is 100% referral, not 99. It's 100. So referral based means you sell yourself, right? You are a salesperson. You have to sell what you do, sell your dreams, sell your talent, sell your skill, sell I'm prompt, I'm never late, I don't miss deadlines, I show up on time, I do what I say I'm going to do, and I do it, and then you do it.
It's absolutely fantastic. I have to break down, getting the clapping here from Presley, because this is everything that we talk about, and you just summarized it in what you just said. I want to point out some things. You are not the first. You're one of the many talented individuals on a very high level who were hired by their instructor. And that speaks volumes. I love your analogy of always being on an interview, because it is absolutely true. You never know who you are around, where your next opportunity is going to come from, your next job. You mentioned being in the classroom, not being the person in the back who's shy and not verbalizing their wants, their needs, and their desires and their passions. The example of raising your hand, does anyone know a cinematographer, cameraman? Yes, I'll do it. No one can look at anyone and know, oh my God, it's like I can't look at you, Jeff, and know you're the master editor and what your talents are. So if indeed it's something that you want to do, you have to be professional. You have to self-advocate for yourself, and you have to put yourself out there. The other thing is saying yes to opportunities when you are young, getting that experience, even if it is not being paid, do it. And you never know who is going to see your talents. The things that you talked about, being on time, working harder than everyone else, people know that. I was not aware of 100% referral, but that absolutely makes sense. People want to work with people that they know are going to show up and get the job done. The other thing that you mentioned, not being a jerk. I cannot tell you, we've had maybe 400 guest speakers, and everyone says everyone can be trainable, everyone can be molded, but if you're a jerk, no one wants to work with you. So be a good person. You never know what opportunities are going to come from that. Before we go into what comes after the cancer editing for 3 years, I have to ask, what was the biggest project that happened based off of being at the travel team game, not being a jerk, wearing the shirt? What job was that led to?
So what that did was that led to me. So I started my company the day I graduated college. I literally started my company and had an opportunity to direct a movie. After I was doing all these cancer videos, while that was all happening, I started a business on the side and was editing movies as much as possible and whatever I could. And when I wore that shirt, what it said on the back of my shirt was "Fix it in post." And because I had that on, the producer comes up to me and says, "Are you an editor? Because you have a post shirt." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I never knew that." I said, "I've hung out with you for 6 months. How do we not know that?" It's because we didn't talk business, right? So it ended up being the daughter of Sid and Marty Krofft. So Sid and Marty Krofft did Land of the Lost and HR Puff and stuff, all that weird 70s and 80s shows that's always like psychedelic and looks like it's drug induced. But they had 3 giant shows with a network now. And what that did was that changed my company from being 5 to 6 people up to 25 people, got us into television, got us into the networks. And then we became Nickelodeon's post-production company. So that kind of changed the path of what my company was doing. So it was a huge thing, and it was all based off of just because I was, wearing that shirt, So it's worth buying those shirts for my company.
Yeah, absolutely. So from that, you're doing editing on those shows. What comes next for you? And did you just created the LLC right when you graduated college?
Yep, right when I graduated college. I was like, I gotta have a business license. I gotta be something. I can't wait for something to happen in the movie industry. So I was very thankful for the cancer videos and all that, and I was making money. But then a part of me is like, I gotta make movies. I'm not, I'm right out of college, man. I gotta get going. So what I did was I started off doing editing because that's what I was getting paid to do. I wanted to direct, but I was getting paid to do editing. So that was an obvious go-to. My clients became more bigger as each film went because I start with filmmakers at this point, and then they grow and I grow, and then I have more of them, and we're all growing at the same time. So I brought in assistant editor. And then I realized I could get into visual effects when I started doing military work with the United States Army, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, the Feds, the CIA. I was doing a lot of editing and visual effects, and that got me into Call of Duty, the video game. So I was kind of being known as the guy that does visual effects for military stuff. So I started working on all of the Call of Duty franchise, and then ended up producing 35 video games for Xbox and PlayStation and all that stuff. And as that's growing, I'm building my film clients as well. And then when we got into television, that got us into a really great spot. And we were growing at a very nice rate. And at the same time, we were doing, 10, 13 movies a year, feature films, all different kinds. And then what was very interesting was, what I didn't know was that there isn't just movies. Right? There's television, there's streaming, there's military work that is done creatively. They hire Hollywood companies to make stuff for the military all the time. Video games, I didn't know I was going to be doing Call of Duties and NBA games and all that stuff as filmmakers. I work for the LA Kings still. I manage all of the video cameras for the live games. I have to determine all the goals, assists, and offsides. I didn't know that that's like an editor does that. And so you just find that your industry is a lot bigger. There's so many more opportunities than just making a movie. So then when COVID hit, we were doing visual effects. And because I had a company that was a good sized company, but I wasn't like Photochem and the big post-production companies. When COVID hit, they had to shut down, and I was able to stay open and have my employees go remote. And then so I immediately landed Disney, Netflix, and Amazon. And when that happened, I went from 20 some employees up to 75, and then dropped down to 55 and rolled around all those numbers, but just skyrocketed, started working on Stranger Things, working on, big shows and big movies, and, working for the big studios and being represented by Universal Studios as their post house. So it got really big. And all during that, I was teaming up with movies and producing them. So I was able to have my company be a co-production company for the films to help them get made, because if they have a post house behind them, it's a lot easier to get their films funded. So I was producing and then producing TV shows, which led to my Emmy for Amazon. So that was for producing, working on shows. So it's kind of, I learned how to edit, learned how to direct, went into producing, do tons of visual effects. We average 400 visual effects shots a week. So it's a lot of different stuff. And so basically what a post-production company is, which is what I am, is we do editing, we do sound, we do the color correction, we do visual effects, we do the music, and then we do all of the finishing, which means once you're done with everything, you got to put it together and get it all ready for the networks and get it overseas and dubbed in multiple languages. And, every streaming service has different requirements of what they need and how they want it delivered to them. And, their booklets this big of their deliverables. And so we do that.
That's it's a mind-blowing and fantastic, such kudos. One of the things I have to point out is a lot of times people go, well, I want to be a director, I want to do sound design, but they don't realize that if you have a certain skill set, even if you want to try something else, you do it and you use your craft to open up doors. And I love that you were like, editing is my go-to, but I'm interested in directing, I'm interested in producing, I'm interested in the visual effects, and eventually all those doors opened up for you. So is Quest Pacifica the LLC that you created right out of college?
It was called Quest Pictures.
Okay.
And then in 2013, I merged. I merged with another partner that she was the #1 Steadicam operator in Hollywood, movies like Taken and all those things. And we had a really great business opportunity, probably the scariest moment of my life in a business decision, dealing with Universal Studios. But that was a time where I decided to merge to kind of bring two forces together.
I love it. At this time, I want to play just so everyone can see the Quest Pacifica promo, and then I'm going to come right back to you. Let me go ahead and share my screen, because everything you're talking about, having it all in one house, you guys have that.
We are a full-service post-production company. We do everything from editing to visual effects, sound mixing, color grading, finish, and delivery. We are with you from the very beginning. During pre-production, you will be assigned a point of contact to answer any post-production questions that may arise. And we have supervisors available for on-set visits. We are available to help schedule, budget, and find creative solutions for the post-process. Once your footage arrives at our facility, it is immediately backed up and converted to proxies where it is synced and organized by our assistant editors. Now our editors can get started. We have 10 full edit suites available for directors and producers for in-person sessions. Once a show or movie is locked, we start the finishing process. And our creative team of visual effects artists are ready to do their magic. Traditional set extensions, 3D modeling and virtual production, war effects, 3D dynamic effects like fire and liquid, wire removal, 3D modeling, and motion capture. We are able to go into virtual sets with VR goggles to help plan for production. On projects that require 3D animation, we also provide storyboards and animatics. From huge fixes to tiny adjustments, Quest Pacifica is your one-stop shop for all your production needs. Our color bay is equipped with 2 LG color-calibrated 55-inch monitors, where our directors and producers can have color grading sessions. Our sound department can polish the dialogue and add sound effects and music. And for your convenience, we have an in-house ADR booth, and we even have a small stage for inserts and pickups. Here, camera and lighting teams are available to film visual effects elements for all of our productions. Once your film or TV show is mixed and assembled, we have 2 options for final screening. A small theater with a 150-inch projected display, and a screening room with an 85-inch Sony television where you can also have final edit sessions. When it comes to final delivery, our staff is experienced with delivery specs from all the major networks. Many of our clients and creative partners come to Quest Pacifica for just visual effects or just editing, but then realize we do everything. Basically, the a la carte menu of services. But many of the shows and feature films really take advantage of the all-in-one service. All of post, editing, sound, color, visual effects, animation, graphic design, and all the deliverables for network and distribution. At Quest Pacifica, we can do it all.
I mean, so impressive. Like hands down, amazing. So now how many employees do you have?
Right now we have about 30 on staff and about 65 visual effects artists remote.
Crazy. And obviously learning from COVID, you can have people work remote and do amazing work, and obviously just finding talented individuals who understand timelines and deadlines and getting things done. You just make sure you're getting driven people.
The good part of that is it's been able to have us working 24/7. So basically, because we have artists from all over the world, we're able to have a client come to us with some, let's say they have 20 visual effects shots, And as long as they get it into us by 5 p.m., they wake up in the morning to them done, because we have different time zones. So we're able to make some of the crazy movie deadlines.
So you're basically the Spielberg who put together the team around, and, that leadership that, you talked about on being able to be a strong leader and put together the team. So fantastic.
Yeah, and with that being said, I use that same philosophy when hiring people, because I find that it isn't, as you grow with teamwork, it's better for me to hire a team than it is for me to hire just one individual. So what I do is I go in and I hire post or visual effects supervisors that come with a team of 12 to 15 people that have already been vetted. So it's kind of like I'm going in and I'm buying an already established good baseball team. And I just need to get the manager, because the manager's done all the work of figuring out who's good. Because I'll get visual effects artists that'll reach out to me and say, yeah, I did the opening credits to Game of Thrones with all the cool stuff growing. And I go, oh, awesome. And then I find out, oh, they only did the lighting on it. So what I want to do is I find talented people that have teams, and then I acquire that.
Love it. Let's talk about mentorship, because obviously you're spending an hour with us and sharing insight. Who, when I bring up mentorship, who was your mentor?
That's an interesting question. I've had a few mentors. I would say one of my professors was definitely one of my mentors. The one that hired me really took me under his wing and taught me a lot, because he went to NYU and was a filmmaker and knew Scorsese back in the day. And he was definitely a mentor of mine. I also consider the owner that owned the wedding video company. The fact that he allowed me to do anything I wanted at his company in the middle of the night to do that stuff, I wouldn't be where I am today. And then I also say that Marty Croft was a very big mentor to me when I worked so close with him. And then he just died this last year after he got his star on the Walk of Fame. So he was a big mentor to me. So yeah, those are probably my top three.
What is your favorite project that you've worked on? I mean, the Kings to, you've done so much. The Call of Duty, there's so many cool things. What's the top?
Yeah, I would say I very much enjoyed working with the military. I did not join. I was not ever enlisted, but I had to get embedded to work on these projects and had to go through top security clearances, and was working with the President of the United States, the generals, the top generals, General McChrystal, General Petraeus. I was on phone calls with them. I was working with the CIA. We were doing Call of Duty at the same time with them, and working with the guys that took down Pablo Escobar, and the Navy SEALs that saved Captain Phillips out with the Somali pirates. I was working with them. So, I mean, it was pretty insane. And when I kind of look at like my career, I go, well, how did I end up in that world? That's what we write movies about. And I'm wrapped up in that stuff. So, I'm working on Call of Duty at the same time with all my friends. And one of my best friends is the cover on the Call of Duty, just because he was standing there and he's on that. It became the largest ad campaign in world history. And it's just my friend Joe, who's the cover of Black Ops. And, it was fun because we're doing that. And at the same time, I'm doing this real life military stuff and managing all of the footage from the war in Afghanistan for the United States Army. And then at that same time, I'm sitting there doing kid shows on Nickelodeon and working with Ryan, the toy review kid that's got, he makes $200 million a year, and he's, the height of my waist at 7-8 years old, and he's making $200 million, and we're doing his kids shows while we're also working, with government stuff. So it's always fun. But the truth is, the real answer is this, and this is for everything. I care 90% about who I work with and 10% about the project, and versus 90% of the project and 10% of the people, because I would rather work with good people, even if the project's not the best project or not a known project, than work on a high profile where everyone's jerks. Life's too short, and I'd rather work with people I enjoy. And I find the challenge in projects that necessarily aren't, the most prestigious projects, because you got to get scrappy. You got to get down and dirty and figure out how to do it and get experimental. And it brings you back to when you're first starting. But, like right now, we're working on Gen V. We're working on The Boys. We're working on Old Man, Jack Ryan, Stranger Things stuff. We're working on, a lot of shows. But the truth is some of the smaller ones are the better projects.
It's so funny going from CIA to Blimpy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. It's like, and you know what? Here's the thing. I don't know how. Does everyone here want to get into the movie industry? Is that
everybody on this call wants to? We have voiceover individuals. We have animators. We have those who want to get into 3D modeling, voiceover, camera. And that's the thing within our program is we want to help them find what they're passionate about, and having an individual like yourself who's done so much, it really, it inspires, but it also lets someone know that's what that job really looks like.
Right. So Jonathan Hernandez, I'm seeing you. Are you interested in animation and 3D modeling? Is that what you were?
Well, my major is in animation, but I'm doing classes of modeling and animation. But yeah, like when I was learning about modeling in that class and learned about modeling the 3D stuff and then animating it, I was pretty much in awe, like, oh, you could do those stuff. And I'm like wondering how these movies, like movie stuff things, like how do they do them? And like,
well,
how
I'll tell you,
their own.
That's great, Jonathan, that you're interested in that. That is the number one most sought after job right now in Hollywood. The average Unreal, which Unreal is a program, it's free. You can download it. It's where you can build 3D models. Unreal artists are getting paid $200 an hour.
What was the website again?
Unreal Engine. It's like a 3D program, but it's free to download. You can free to use it. So it's one of those you can experiment. And there's a million YouTube tutorials. But Unreal Engine 3D modelers are getting paid a lot because the shows I'm working on right now, and I'm in charge of putting together these virtual sets, virtual productions. So something like, have you guys seen The Mandalorian?
Yes.
For Star Wars. So, that's shot on a soundstage. Even all these stuff outside in the desert, that's in a soundstage. It's on an LED wall. So there's LED walls that are 3D models. And basically, it's someone designed it in Unreal Engine, a virtual set of a location in a desert. And when you walk on set, you're seeing LED walls all the way around. And the actors are performing on that. And they're 3D models, and the director walks up to a 3D model artist and says, is there any way we can move that 3D rock in the background? And can we change the lighting? And can we make it sunset? And the 3D modeler just goes, yep, boom, boom. And it's live on set, and that's how they're doing it. So they do shows like, the movie The Batman. They're doing all these gigantic shows, most of the Star Wars stuff. They're all being done on these virtual sets, and that is being done by 3D modelers.
Pretty cool. And I heard that you said that like you worked on the Call of Duty stuff. Like, what specifically? Like, what game?
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, 3, Black Ops 1, 2. Whatever was after that, I don't remember.
Black Ops 3.
Yeah, and and then I think the last one we worked on was oh god, I forgot. It was more of a modern. Forgot what it's called.
It is interesting though.
Yeah,
is it the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the new one or the old one?
The old one.
Oh wow. And
Oh,
did you
gee.
animate did your guys animate the scene?
So what we worked on was we
No,
worked
I mean
on.
like what like let me finish. Did you do you know about the zombies mode?
Uh-huh.
Do you know the scenes that they show in the trailer? Did you animate those or was it just another company?
That was a different company that did the zombies. Basically, Activision hired Blizzard, which is a company that either put on that game or Sledgehammer. And what we would do is, when you turn on the game and there's an opening story and it goes through satellite imagery, those kind of weird things, we would do a lot of the 3D graphics. We worked on the commercials and the trailer campaigns and worked on most of my friends were actually the actors that were scanned. Their bodies were scanned and they were the characters in there. And then a celebrity came in and did the voice.
Wow, that's cool.
You've got a definite group that is just infatuated right now with the video games. I love it. Guys, I'll come to questions at the very end. I want to be really respectful of Jeff's time. I have two last questions. One, is there a mantra that you live by every day?
Yeah, it's probably what I said. I think that mantra is that I am just always assuming I'm being interviewed. So I live my life that way. So I just know that when I'm around, I just make sure I act professional wherever I am. And I go by that. And I find that has led to great relationships with my clients. My clients become my best friends. I go to their family kids events and their plays. I just find that this industry, which it's a business, that's why they call it the movie business. It's a business and it's not just about creating art and that's the end. If you're just making a movie, the only people that will see it will be your parents and friends. There's the business side, so you have to get into that world and you have to engulf yourself into understanding that it is a business. So when you take that part serious, the creative part is to me the easy part, because that's the dreaming. The visions, the excitement is, what I think about when I'm driving my car and I'm thinking of a story or I'm thinking of how to do something creatively. I'm constantly trying to keep updated on technology and learning what's new. I just had a meeting where 20 of us are wearing goggles and we're in a meeting on a location scout in a 3D world. We are location scouting for a movie while we're all wearing goggles, walking around in a 2-mile size 3D map, figuring out where we're going to do shots and what cameras. And we pull out a director's toolbox and have a 50 millimeter lens. And we're looking through a 50 millimeter lens while we're in the virtual world and we're setting up the camera. Then we let go and the camera stays there. And we mark that as scene 1, take 1. And then when we come back to the shooting day, it's there ready for us. And it's just like, how are we doing this? How are we in that experience? And using AI right now look, there's a lot of negative talk about what AI does, but AI is a tool. AI is like any tool that's come through with technology. You can use it for such great ways, and there's so many ways to utilize it to be more efficient and to get stuff done quicker. And it's used in great ways in the film industry, and it's not used in other ways, but that's how everything is. You stay up on this technology, and then you surround yourself with good people, and you just lock in on them, and you just want to be happy. You want to go to work every day and do something that you love. And the great part of the movie industry is, I'm sitting there telling you I do military, I do kid shows, I do horror films, I've cut off people's heads with visual effects, I've done war films, I've the craziest stuff, right? Some of the craziest stuff. It's so great in the movie industry because every single day you're working on something completely different. You're not like walking and doing accounting where you're like, okay, I got to do the books and do it. No, you walk in and you're like, what am I doing today? I'm cutting someone's head off with a visual effect and using blood effects. or today I'm editing a kid's show, or I'm cutting a movie trailer that's going to be in the theaters, or I'm wearing virtual goggles in some bizarre location scout. You're showing up on set, meeting great filmmakers and celebrities and actors that you become friends with. So it's such a great thing. So that thing I said in the beginning where you just got to dream and then do it. I find, so many people watch a movie and go, I could have done that. Why did that director get that opportunity? I'm just as good. And I just want to say, well, they didn't stop. That's the only difference. It's not that they're better. It's that they didn't give up, and they pushed, and they networked. They networked. And look, I'm talkative now, but I wasn't when I was in high school and college. I was very quiet, and it took me a while to realize what the game is in the industry. The game is very simple. The game is this. It's 100% by demand. That's it. If you're in demand, you're wanted. If you create a demand, then they want you. Someone goes, oh, I got to use that person as an editor. Why would I not? I got 4 other people that want to be editors, but I obviously have to use this person because everyone's telling me I got to use that person. That's a referral. People go, oh, well, you have to use that you got to use Jeff. If you don't use Jeff, you're in trouble. That is a demand. So you're creating a demand. I once, as a quick little side story, just so you can understand how this works, I did a film in film school. I did the first feature film out of Columbia. I did a film. They said, you can't do it. They said, we don't allow feature films in film school because most students don't finish. They do a 20-minute film or a 5-minute film or a 1-minute film or a commercial, and half of them don't finish. So you can't do a feature. And I said, I'm going to do a feature. I'm going to get it done. And they said, you only have 4 months. No one's ever done a feature. So I had to go to the president of the school and said, I'm doing this feature. I'm going to get it done. If I don't get it, then flunk me. But I'm going to get it done. I'm going to raise $100,000. I'm going to ask as many people as I can to put in $1,000. So I ended up making this film. I turn it in. I get it done before everybody. And half of the students didn't finish their film. And I finished a feature. So I went to Sundance with this film. I didn't get into Sundance. I just went to Sundance, okay? Went to Sundance, took the movie, passed out a bunch of one-sheet little posters of the film, looking for a distributor to buy the film. And I made 200 calls with my other producers, and every distribution company said, absolutely not. We're not taking your movie. No one's in it. There's no, nudity. There's no sex. There's no violence. It's just, what is it? I said, it's a spy film. It's a love story spy film. And they said, yeah, no, we're not taking it. It doesn't have anything that we want. Sorry. So I go to Sundance, and I get one distributor that says, you know what? I think we'll take it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. So I get a 17-page contract. I don't know how to read it at all, and I've never gone through this. And it basically, this was on a Friday, and on Monday, I had to by the end of Monday, I had to make a decision of whether or not to sign. If I don't sign the contract, I don't get my film made. So I'm on cloud 9. I come back. I fly back in LA on Sunday night. And I decide, you know what, hold on. I'm going to call my producers, bring them in. All my producers come in. I said, so look, we got this contract. We got to sign it. Everyone's like, sign it. I mean, we hit gold. And I said, yeah, but you know what? Hold on. Give me Monday to play the game. So I called back about 15 of the distribution companies that had said no. And all I said was, listen, I know you said no on my film, but I just want you to know I have a contract sitting on my desk. I have to make a decision by the close of Monday day whether to sign with them, and I just want to give you one more opportunity. And by the end of Monday, I had 10 contracts from the people that said no. And the point is, my film didn't change. It was still the crappy movie that it was. Okay, nothing had changed except one thing, and that was there was a demand for it. Somebody else wanted it, so then they want it. Why does this person want it? We must have missed something. So they immediately are wanting it because there's a demand for it. And when I realized that, that changed the way I do business, the way I changed my career. I really realized that the demand of the project, your script, your story, your career, you're an editor, you're a graphic designer, whatever career you are, if there is that demand for you, then they're going to want you. So then how do you create the demand? You tell as many people what you're doing, you help them, and they will help you, and it will be a back and forth. So when they're sitting at a party, okay, have you guys heard, like, you can make mailbox money? What that means is you're out there doing your job, you're doing your 40 hours a week, whatever you're doing. But meanwhile, there's something else that's bringing you money, like stocks or the stock market. You don't have to do anything for that. It's just doing it. Well, I look at that as a referral. I'm working my normal day. I'm working 9 to 5. I do my day and I put in my time, and that's all I can give. I can't do more hours, or I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be grumpy. I can't. But what I can do is get myself out there. So then while I'm sitting at work doing 40 hours a week, or I'm at home eating dinner, other people are talking about me and selling me, and I don't even know it's happening. And that's the referral. So the referral is someone sitting at a table at some restaurant, and someone goes, I'm looking for, God, my film, it's almost done. It's not complete. I just need help with visual effects. And someone goes, oh, I know this guy, Jeff. He does visual effects. You ought to give him a call. And next thing I know, there's a text that says, hey, Jeff, there's this guy I want you to meet. He needs help on his film, visual effects. And now all of a sudden, I have a client for 10 years. And that was happening while I was sitting there eating dinner like I normally do. And that changed everything I do, because I realized that what you do and what you do on your day is one thing. But as you network and get yourself out there, then others are working for you. So you have two things happening. You don't just work for money, you have money work for you. That's the same concept. You have other people working for you, and it's not like they know they're working for you. They just know you are that person that they're going to refer in a normal conversation, and that's how you build your career. So all the students that you're sitting there with, if they know that Jonathan's the one that wants to do 3D modeling and animation, now there's, 20 people sitting on this Zoom right now. They go, well, Jonathan's the guy. If I ever need animation or that, I'm going to call that guy Jonathan Hernandez, right? That's how simple it goes, okay? You just get yourself out there. And it's not being cocky. It's not that. It's just, you help that person out, they help you out, and all of a sudden you built that connection. So that foot in the door is right now, you guys are already in the door. It's how you play that game, because it's a game, but it's about being genuine, honest, trustworthy, and diligent, and doing what you say you're going to do. Like if somebody texts me, I text them in 5 minutes. There isn't a gap. It is an immediate response, because I want them to know that that's important to me, what they have to say. And that's kind of the way that I live by, is I figure out a way to go about my life, about doing what I do with integrity. And then at the same time, I know that there's people with integrity that are also working for me out there. They just don't know they're working for me. And I do the same. So when somebody's looking for someone with animation, I go, oh, you got to use this guy named Jonathan Hernandez. Done. And your life changed. So as you sit there at home and you're like, how am I going to pay my bills this week? Oh my God, I'm going to go on Mandy.com and submit my resume 1,000 times. And I'm going to do this and this. Is like, you don't know that there's people out there that are working for you. So you just got to keep that going, because it keeps your positive energy going. Otherwise, you just sit in front of a computer and go, what am I going to do? How am I going to get a job? No one's calling me. It's like, no, go to classes, take more classes, go to, whatever Hollywood events you can find where there's peers that talk, and go there and just schmooze, just talk around. Like my wife, she was quiet, but this is what we do. We walk into any peer event or any type of place, and we literally walk in, we look at each other, and we go, "Are you ready?" She goes, "Yeah," and we go, and we split up. And we come back, she goes, "I got five dinners with a couple people that want to go out to dinner with us to schmooze and mingle." I go, "I got about 5 or 6 connections here," and then it's like, did it, networked, right?
Absolutely. Breathtaking, inspiring, and guys, we talk about being your own brand. I think you're realizing from Jeff why it is so important to be able to sell yourself, pitch yourself, show that your value. I could not have said what you said any better, Jeff. I'm speechless.
I've slowly been getting myself to a position where right now we're working with ILM, and to just be in the world of the Star Wars world, to me, I don't know if you can see behind me, but I do have some Star Wars things up. There's a Millennium Falcon up flying above my head.
Rad.
So working in the Star Wars world has always been exciting, and we have the opportunity right now to be doing that. So that's a very exciting project. But the truth is there becomes a point in life where you want to have as much autonomy as possible to get your creative dreams and all of that. So self-producing and working on our own projects is a very important thing for me right now. So we are really trying to do as many things as possible that are less client-based.
There you
So
go.
that's always fun. That's
Excellent.
always fun.
But Star Wars, next level. I love it.
Yeah, we gotta work. The closest we came with Star Wars, at least for me, was we were contracted to do the lightsabers for one of the projects. That it's funny, they ILM, who does all the visual effects for Star Wars, sent us a 4-page document on these are all the specs that you have to do a lightsaber. So it stays within brand. So that's a lot of fun. But the truth is I'm real excited about certain filmmakers we work with, because I get inspired by certain filmmakers, and they could work on, how you always say, like, oh, I can listen to Morgan Freeman and read the telephone book. I can watch any filmmaker just go work on something, and I learn a lot from them. And that to me is more important than the project. I'm just really excited about watching certain filmmakers. And when I teach my class at Valley College, they talked me into doing that. I used to guest speak there, and then they wrote a class for me. And, seeing students that are super excited and coming up with creative ideas, and I'm just like, wow, I would never have thought of that. That's fantastic. And seeing that through their eyes, I'm very excited about that. And I just think with your generation right now, that you guys are able to just make a movie with an iPhone. An iPhone's camera quality is better than the cameras 10 years ago. And you can download Davinci on the computer for free. You can edit a movie for free on that. You can work with 3D models for free. I mean, it's just there are no excuses for you guys to make great projects. It's just a matter of will, the will to keep going, the will to not give up and just do it. You guys have so much at your fingertips. Plus the colleges now, wow, the junior colleges, the community colleges, what they offer in the film departments now is crazy. They had 2 classes for me when I was in junior college. Now it's an unlimited amount of different certificates. You can get a certificate in certain degrees within the film. It's so great.
Jeff, I want to thank you, first of all, for your time. I think the students that have you at Valley College are beyond blessed and have no clue that they're having a professor that's really doing it day in and day out. That's usually they're so detached, but you're right in the trenches. The other thing that I really want to point out is you can see how passionate you are for every aspect of filmmaking and production. I love the fact that you are still hungry to learn and embrace the technology. You're not one of the individuals like Rage Against the Machine. You know that technology is right around the corner. So use it, master it in order to be successful. You have given so many examples on why you need to be resilient. Your integrity and hard work will get you through the door, and hard work will continue to get you paid and continue to get you jobs. I just want to thank you again. You are by far one of the most inspiring, spot on guest speakers that we've had, and we've had 400 plus. You are top dog. I would love to find time to buy you dinner just to hear stories. I love it all. Very moved, very blessed. Everyone on this call tonight, you are extremely lucky to have been able to hear Jeff share his story. And I hope you're leaving here as inspired as I am. The one thing I want you to take, there's no more excuses. I can't do this. You're hearing from someone who did not make excuses, put his work and took it very seriously, went from projects, gave up on a lot of family time, friend time to pursue what he was passionate about. And if you do that, you will have the level of success that Jeff has. So on that note, Jeff, thank you once again for making time for us tonight.
As we conclude another enriching episode, we hope you found inspiration in the stories shared today. Let's take a moment to honor Yes I Can's role in bringing Breaking the Biz to life. Yes I Can's commitment to empowering young people with disabilities through education, advocacy, and mentorship shines brightly, paving paths of opportunity and dialogue. This podcast celebrates the organization's dedication to nurturing talent and facilitating impactful discussions. Breaking the Biz is more than a podcast. It's a part of Yes I Can's broader mission to amplify voices, dismantle barriers, and craft a world that's more inclusive and accessible for everyone. Each episode is a chapter in our shared narrative of progress, education, and empowerment, driven by the spirit of Yes I Can. Thank you for spending your time with us on Breaking the Biz. Continue to challenge the status quo and share stories that resonate. Until our paths cross again, let's keep transforming aspirations into achievements and infuse every endeavor with optimism. Here's to advancing the landscape of the entertainment industry, one episode at a time. I'm your host, William Felber. See you next time.